Okay. um, I'm just going to continue a little bit on some more war stories from the hard years, as I like to call them. In the very few instances of private conversations I have about this this thing where I filed a petition where in 3 days we had more than 50% of the registered voters of Åseral County submitting that they are up for let's talk about things before we tear down a building we all treasure and love, even though we don't use it very much. Just to see it just thrown in the garbage without hesitation, and no, you could not get a word in edgewise ever since. Gosh, sometimes you just have to praise yourself lucky that you are not so full of yourself that you are not interested in hearing anybody's other's opinion under no circumstances at all. It's such a shame. What a tragedy. What a mess people created, the elected official created out of thin air, literally. It's a crying shame, and that's just my 2 cents on it. Whatever you think. There's a lot of things I didn't get to touch on a small hour I spent last time. We'll try to talk about the same time here, about the same issues. And likely when I'm done, I still think there would be 2 or 3 hours more worth of material just to if there was ever any doubt left, but we will try to get through some of the most egregious things here, and hopefully I'll be able to make myself understood well enough that it doesn't come across too confused. After all, these are events that happened somewhere in the main between 2004 to 2008, when the actual building of Minne Kultursenter happened. Those 4 years, I did all I could that was within reason. I'm not paid by anyone to do this. I'm doing out of my own conscience, as I did then. And because there was actually a lot of murmurings locally about why is this happening? Why is this happening at this lightning speed? Why can we not talk about it? And etc. etc. Then, if you are going to build a house of culture, what kind of culture are you talking about? Is not talking about things culture? Because I think it's silly. I am embarrassed to say that this process, more than anything, from the years I spent in Oslo and hearing what city slickers think about people on the countryside, I have to say that they are not. They are more right than they are wrong. I'm very sad to say, but that's my experience, and I think you. Hei, Pushin, skal du ha mat? Mjau, au, au. Au, au, au. Ikke nå. Vent, da. Oh well. So well, okay. So, but a lot of these things, I have to maintain myself throughout this, and I would. Isn't that also something worth thinking about as they are building this? they are projecting within 3 years into the opening, there will be 50,000 plus visitors annually. It was such a luftslott, we call it, a castle built of air. They didn't even if you are expecting 50,000 visitors annually, they didn't even think about the parking space for that many people. The people who planned it were people from from the cities, companies. There was very little local involvement in it. Again, I'm thinking, what kind of culture is this? We have to hire all the main work has to be done by people from outside of the commune. Well, me, being probably not the only one, but maybe the second in our long and illustrious history as a commune that ever dared to commit fully to walking down that the very hard road of being an artist. And I went to school for it, a private school, very proud of it. Learned a lot of good stuff. I was having civiltjeneste, civil services, instead of military duties. I worked in the National Library for 18 months. And also worked as much in as an errand boy for Norsk Faglitterære Forfatterforening for some time. I got a frog in my throat. DJing tons of venues and festivals for up to as many as 3,000 people at a time. I would play in all the biggest places in Oslo. That includes Rockefeller, Sentrum Scene, and Spektrum, Oslo Spektrum. So but I was never a headliner. I've never been so about those things. The music I do, the art I do, I consider it underground. So I'm not doing it exactly for the attention's sake. Plus, as I was told earlier, I also worked daily as a librarian at the Deichmanske, the biggest foreign languages department of that library outside of the main library. So I had some experience in the field in many different venues. But of course, when I come to Oslo and I accidentally come to do this petition where I'm speaking on behalf of the majority of the people of Oslo, the last man they want to talk with, these officials that went so gung-ho on this nutty project, they go out of their way to, I believe, they have been smearing me quite significantly because in a very short time, I mean, see, Dad, I was so glad. One thing I'm very happy about coming home then was that even though I didn't know it at the time, Dad would only live 3 months more than after. So I'm glad I got to know him a little bit better before he passed on. And it was a pretty pretty traumatic experience in itself. Or I don't know, dramatic is probably a better. Dad had a very nice passing away out in the forest with one of his daughters and nephews and nieces, and they were working. They were looking over the work he had done the previous winter, where he'd been out cutting down trees for firewood and for materials. I should have some honey, but I don't have. Bear with me. I was playing in Flekkefjord at Fjell Park Festival and was doing warm-up for a pretty cool Norwegian jazz outfit called Jaga Jazzist, a band I'd been playing warm-up for several times while I lived in Oslo. And they're still going strong today, I believe. And I get the message just a couple of hours before I'm due on that one of my sisters said, "Hey, dad passed on." So I'm very shocked. He was in good health, albeit let it be known that all throughout his years, one thing he would say incessantly is that he would never, he wasn't going to get very old. And we of course always thought he was just joking, because if not the picture of good health, he was very good spirits, I would say. Oh, very annoying this. So that gig was just something else. It was very overwhelming with all these emotions and playing with festival with festival people and a band that I really like, Jaga Jazzist, even if I don't have any of their records. I like what they're doing. Maybe if they had some on vinyl, I would even play it. No probs. No. So there was one thing that just fell away from my life all of a sudden, and I'm new in Oslo, back in Oslo, and with all the misunderstandings, it's bad. So yeah, the mini project went from the basic good foundation was that we're just gonna refurbish it and turn it into something the public can use. We'll spend like 4 or 5 million on that. No, let's do it some other way. Then it will cost 14 million. Mind you, no. Don't worry, son. We got everything under control. No, don't stress your head about it. It's not me, just me. We have a new plan. Just gonna raise it, and we'll spend 35 million on it. No questions asked. Well, there were plenty of questions, but they were all overruled. What I heard, the sensible people, condescending people, is that we cannot stop a project just because we get a petition. That everybody's gonna make petitions then. No, sorry. Did you hear more than 50% of the registered voters of Oslo, after you bade me to strike out those not coming of age yet, those who had invested money in building cabins in Oslo, and also those few elected officials that dare to put their name on the petition. Oh, you cannot. They're all. They have nothing to say here. Strike it. Even after that, there were more than 50% of the registered voters. It was more than 200 than that the newspapers reported. I believe it was closer to 263, if I'm remembering correctly. Mind you, I haven't seen that list in many years now, so but it was way more than what the papers reported. This also goes to show you once more, you should always question mass media, even when you agree with them. So there was a lot of issues. One thing I did to try to halt it was that I would suggest something else we can use those money for. That for sure will, more give them higher yield, more bang for the buck, more prestige. My suggestion was that we could establish a local radio. It's always good, especially now with the FM ban put to pasture in favor of this very unpopular internet radio. Great, you get good reception, but you're dependent on the internet working, and that might not always be a given. Or an EMP could wipe out a lot of electronics. Getting back to the internet then would be, I think that would be very tough. Then we are talking about really big events. But in any case, just to have your apparatus underground instead of up in the out in space is going to give you a whole lot more redundancy in fixing and maintaining communication even during hard times, which is essentially when you really need radio more than anything. Plus, I've been listening to a lot of American independent radio over the years, and I really come to appreciate that format as means of gathering information. I think Oswald could have done something like that. Be very happy with it to this day. Even if it would never be a big channel, it would be a very important channel. I suggested, in addition to that, since we have, an old site, maybe 1200 years old, from late Bronze Age, up in the hills, Sostli, could refurbish that like what they have done up in Lofoten, and make an authentic tourist attraction where you would get people from all over the world to come and see what Australs were up to 1200 plus years ago. Wouldn't that be interesting? And to not be stuck in the past only, because there's telebroadcasting tower up in the high mountains that has electricity line going to it. It's out of light pollution area. You could have a a planet observatory. We could do that in conjunction with the University of Agder, and we get high-level university staff to regularly come up to Oslo. Have a good reason to spend some time there, and that would be no doubt be good for just the general intelligence quotient of our district, but also would do wonders for our very troubled school. This has just been a mess since I don't know when it wasn't a mess, really. It's one of the things that occasionally pop up in the newspapers, but as always, if it's something wrong with the official, you're not to talk about it. So no, they put this was not a good. We must raise the building. We must not talk about it. Ask what you may not get any answers. That was the order of the day, year after year, and it was very hard to get any point across because there were too many people willing to just cut you off before you got to half a sentence out your mouth. It's really not. It's really not a good foundation for building a house of culture, I have to say. With such you know, you think this, don't think anything else. That's like Soviet style culture. But it wasn't. That wasn't. I don't know what happened, but I believe there must have been some. There was some murky stuff going on there. One of the teams involved, Naturexpo, were also, so far as I can understand it, also somewhat involved with the seed bank up in Svalbard. Again, seeds, you put them in the soil and they pay you back with interest. If you put it in a sterile chamber, there will be no interest. And when you need them, worst case scenario, what are you going to do? Are you going to take a rowing boat up to Svalbard? So you're going to swim? May not be any motorboats left for you to get up there and get the seeds. But many people, much money change hands. In Oslo, it was very much so that these were protected by the official authorities. So again, you could not ask any questions, and they could ask for more money time and again and get it without too much discussion. After all, they were doing this worthy and high project of Kulturhuset på Minne. And were they really? I tell you, for 2 periods, I believe, I was varamedlem av kommunestyret. That means I would, if somebody couldn't come to a town hall meeting, I would be called in to fill in. So there was one of those occasions. I believe this must have been as late as 2011, even maybe to 2010. We are sitting around the table with them, discussing funding and you know, how is this developing and blah blah blah. And I've been probably the only person in the, except them, who had done any due diligence. I went to because then Minna had already been open for a few years. So I gone to the website to see what's how does it look, and they had not even updated it since before. It was just on the drawing board. It was the architect drawings of the. That's what are you getting money for doing exactly? The guy didn't even flinch, didn't even turn red. He just cut it off and talk about something else. Hey, no, I'm not gonna answer that. It didn't take too long from after that that they had actually built a website. But this is so tall stories to tell, but are nevertheless very true. Meanwhile, I was also under a heavy scrutiny because being an independent artist in Oslo during a time of you building a house of culture. You cannot just allow money to anything. So this was another meeting, and it was to dole out some commune money to different cultural projects. And there was small paint club I've been part of. Ja, men du kan ikke få nå må vente til jeg preker ferdig, Pys. But I'd stopped going there because I didn't want them to get into any trouble. This is how it went out. It was run on a voluntary basis, and I used one of the classrooms at the school. It was a nice group, a handful of people, maybe a dozen, come together once a week, evening, to sit down and paint, draw, talk, drink coffee, and eat cookies. Very cultural endeavor done on a volunteer basis by a sweet old lady, Marion Øyestad, who had for once filed an application for like 500 kroner to cover extra cost for coffee and cookies. But we have heard that you are sometime there. Yes, but I really stopped going there a year or so ago, so I don't know anything, but I know it's it's very good what they're doing. But I don't think we can. This is we cannot just give money. If you've been there, it's there might be some conflict of interest there. So strike. Marion didn't get her. It's such a shameful thing. Who did get a good slouch of the money bag was the rådman, the town, the county advisor's son, because he went to sports school to become a cyclist. So they foresaw him a great future in cycling, and that he'd be back in Oslo sometime. Not that he ever was from Oslo. And not that his parents has moved to sweeter pastures already many years ago. But during that time they had a grand hope that we award him 8,000 kroner, and that would be good. So no, the website was I didn't talk so much about the Lancaster. Two Lancasters crashed in Oslo during World War II. One became, was cut up to pieces before the Germans could detect it and hidden. And another one crashed, and war stories from my father. He was a teenager, and he was one of the first people to, he and a friend, because they were out to gå på rypejakt, lage rypesnare, snaring fowlers for the winter, and they came across this wreckage. They're like teens would be out there ignoring the dead people, there's a guns there. Maybe we can. Uh, long story short is that some Germans had detected them, and they um, they got out of a tight pinch there, thankfully. Otherwise, I might not never have been born. So this Lancaster here and the other, I believe the mayor who really started one was one that kind of stepped down just as the other one, this new one that I'm having this conflict with, is becoming, and this is really his project all along, because he wanted some place to store these Lancaster parts, which is all well and good, but don't take and raise a building that most people really would like to see us being there still. Look at other places, and if you want 50,000 people to visit annually to see this, you wipe out older history to remember newer history. How can you make this make sense? Oh yeah, but just making sure nobody is allowed to ask a question, and if there's still, don't stand down. Do what you can to make them feel uncomfortable and unwelcome. Stop their means of getting anything done. Reduce them. Demoralize. It's nasty. I would apply many times, both for work, which I was more than well qualified for, and for also for suitable locations to do my work as an artist, because that's it. It's good to have a workshop, so to speak. As I say, these stories come a bit jumbled, but these are like things I like to clear out of my inner system, because I'm so done with having to chew through all this material time and again, and just wondering what was it? What was it? I never talked about this to anybody over these years, except very, very fleetingly, and then to people far away that doesn't have anything to do with it, because I already knew very quickly that when that is the temperament of the discussion, if you do raise your voice, believe you me, if there is a reason why the place failed, it's because because you are so negative and you are disturbing the process we are making of making culture in Oslo. So shame on you for being pooping on the parade, and that is the sole reason why it failed. If that was the sole reason why it failed, I'd ignore that. I never talked about it to anybody or alluded to it. Why don't you, if you think it's all on me, why don't you hire me if you believe I have such huge talent for winning sympathy for my causes? It wouldn't be good to have me in your retinue. I hate your logic. You cannot think like that. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna think I'm to live up to your idea of me, but nobody listen to people that are such lowlives. And you've obviously been doing a very good job at painting me as a lowlife, because even to the present date, I still have a hard time getting through with my arguments. But I have noticed there's a whole lot more silence. It's weird. I cannot even understand these YouTube things. the previous video I talked about this went to over 400 views, which is in, of course, not a lot, but for a local matter, this happened decades ago. For me, it's above normal. Not way above normal, but above normal. Then when I post shortly afterwards my flyer drop where I show some of the stuff I've been doing, some of the gigs and places, I don't know. I sent it out to quite a few people in the industry. So, okay, here's what I've been doing throughout this year. So you know, I have this is my story before all the other stuff happened. And I really think it was basically just those who saw it. And the DJ mix that I published right afterwards, it still stands on 3 views, and 2 of them are mine. And that one I plastered as much as I could as a banner on my profile, and pinned to my top of the threads, and you know, do everything possible to make it visible. And nobody sees it. That's not normal, because even if you whether you like or dislike my music, normally I at least get over 50 views, and sometimes when it really hits, it gets to a couple of thousands. So and I think maybe this is also why I'm recording this now, is that okay, let's upload another like this and see how why are my videos stopped like that. The mixed video and the fly video is it's nothing controversial there, it's just music. Yes, I have gray hair. Yes, I have gray hair. I've earned those. Every single one is hard-won gray hair. One very like it's such a nasty thing. I mean, the woman that kind of stabbed me in the back she left the course to become because she was promised a better position. Left me in the lurch. A few years later, I would, because she was in charge of what we call the old schoolhouse. It's one of the first place I had my employment as a 12-year-old. I was working as a floor sweeper in a sewing shop at the time. And then when I became a teen, after that sewing shop had moved on to bigger and better things, we would have I would have 2 seasons, I think, at least 1 season, summer work there in tourist information, and I was making a couple of drawings that would be put on brochures and stuff like that. I had some. I've been to the old school also. Even if I wasn't a student, I was there working. So what is called the history society of Oslo, I don't know. She was in charge of that, and they were in charge of that schoolhouse that was looking more and more dilapidated by year because of neglect. So I sought her out, and I proposed to her that if I can rent that place, I can also use my not inconsiderable skills as painting a house and doing simple crafts work to just make it look nice again. That, you know what she did? She always was a very bleak complexion, but on this suggestion, she turned more like purple and just stormed off without responding to me. What gives? What gives, Anna? Hvorfor stakk du bare? Alex sak. I was asking a very honest question, about something that we should have some common ground on. And besides, after having, stabbed me in the back like you did, why did you even feel any need to correct and try to get on good terms on me? So I'm going to talk about it now. That's here I cannot be interrupted. It's just me and the recorder here. So I'm just bringing it into light and hopefully provide you with some context around the life and times I had while I was living 12 years in Oslo. And some of the things that went down. There was also did I say big dude stealing? Did I talk about the local annual exhibition, also for 40 years plus, running on voluntary basis? That was when Minne opened the House of Culture. It was taken over by these people and turned into a commercial entity. And yes, that's what I said. And last time, 3 years later, they had to just cancel the whole rigmarole because nobody was coming. And the few things they sold of art, the money they took for themselves to pay their own bills, and they sent the bill off to the commune to pay off the artists. So they even got away with theft, and there's just no shame. It's such an... So, I mean, as I say, there's a lot of other stories I could get into deep, but I feel I'm just jumping too much around here just to get these stories told pretty good. But I also filed one, and that was just one. I recall that rådmannen Rune Stokke, that when I asked to rent another house, Huset til Blindeper, downtown Austrud, that was a house slated to be torn down eventually, and I was well aware of it, and I wasn't seeking to preserve it, but I was seeking to, if I can rent this in the center, I can develop a lot of my projects. Not just, I have to work so much on by myself all over the years. It's really not because I've been that I like to do collaborations with people if we find common ground. And I also know it's always good to have a group around you. And yeah, make use of your talents. So there was a house that a blind guy had been living in throughout his life, a three-story building. After he had passed on, it stood empty, and besides, it had some nice outhouse to it that were very well suited for the kind of projects I was doing at the time. Among them, also a bike repair and bike modifications that a lot of the younger kids were very happy about. We would do that in mom's garage at home, and she wasn't very happy about having that garage filled with bike parts of all different makes of sizes. But we had good fun, and I think they had that's one of the things that have really been a blessing over those years, that as lone as I was, regularly the farm kids would come to my place and, hey, we don't know what to do. Okay, we come up with something. And we go on an expedition, or we do this bike thing, or we did a lot of different things. If ever sometime else comes, I can get into it. So here we have a house a blind man has been living in for all his years, up until he was over 80, maybe closer to 90. And I'm filing application to rent the house. I'm having a meeting with rådmannen about it, who says that this is a very good application. What you're proposing here is something that we need, and it's something that the commune cannot do on its own. He was very in favor of it. So I'm saying, great, then we can settle this in a very short time. I'm very up for it. Even a snow festival I also proposed there. And a week turns into a month turn into a half a year, I believe. And I understand that they got to him. He was caught in wrong think, and I had my application denied because the house was not suited for living in. A house that a blind man has been living in throughout his life until he went with, I could not possibly manage to survive a year even in such a place. And better not even entertain the thought, so you're not gonna get the house. But we registered that you are looking for a workshop. Well, for a sensitive artist like you, here is what we can give you. Behind the school, up in a corner, tight by the mountains where the sun doesn't shine, there is mechanic workshop for scooters, for mopeds, and machinery. Isn't that good for you? You've been biking all your life and doing this painting and DJing. You need to get your hands dirty. Isn't that good? Aren't we swell people? We take your consideration. We cannot give you the house because we don't think you are able to cope with that. But go into the mechanic shop, and that would be good. So that was basically I remember I said to the rådmann when we were talking initially, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna have to go and look at moving out of this place where I'm born from, and where my family is, and because I'm not gonna stand for this anymore. So it took even then 3 more years, and I think it must have been by the grace of God that this place there, it's a story in itself. But as I said, I basically moved in here with 16,000 kroner, which is nothing, and a whole lot of new problems to solve. Can I manage to hold on to this place? Now I have a place where I can finally demonstrably show that I'm definitely putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm pursuing what I've always been saying I was going to pursue. So now I've been living here for 11 years. I guess I'm going on the 12th now. Even it's been hard years for sure. But compared to the ordeals that went down in Oslo, it's been a smooth ride, even when it's been horrible. I know whatever I've been doing, it's because I made it difficult for myself. And always the faster I can solve these problems, the faster we can get on track on all the numerous projects that I've never been talking about, as well as doing materializing the projects I've always been talking about. Art, music, sound, water, space, related and beyond at this point. And at this point also, because I've been doing so much, I've been on my own for so many years. It's been a while since I've come across people that it's just going to be bits and pieces. I think a lot of it just have to be compartmentalized, because it's such a big picture that there has to be a budget. I don't know. Just some things off the top of my head. In addition to this, I think the last thing I did regarding Minne, and I was very happy to just leave it in the rearview mirror when I come over here, because all this time I have to be as an artist and an independent artist, even though I'm out in the boondocks. I have to don't get too caught up in that political situation. You are not here for that after all. You're here for the art. So I was very sometimes you just want to go full in, but you don't have any meaningful don't when you don't have any staunch allies that are prepared to stand by your side. It's just a fool's game to go up against it. If I had some people that been backing me up, but just a little bit, encouraging me, I could have done a whole lot more. But as it was, I felt I was just walking on eggshells, and I was very glad to leave it behind, even if it was my own family, the place I'm from, and where I know so many nooks and crannies. I have a life after all that I want to do. So the last thing I did was I just sent a note to fylkesmann, or fylkeskvinne as it were at that time, cannot recall her name, detailing these just very obvious where is the law, where can we get some remedy for this situation. And she pretty much answered pretty much the same as the kommune. No, we're not gonna. No, they're protected people. We don't mess with protected people, especially when they are of our own. So that's just how it seems bureaucracies are built, is more than a smidgen of corruption and people hiding for each other and giving each other diplomas for good behavior, but they're really corrupt. That seems to be the order of the day. Sad to say. I think Norway would have been a much more worthy country to look to if we'd been more persistent on pursuing justice and correcting injustices, especially the most blatant ones. But as it turns out, I saw some I kind of find credible on Facebook. He posted that around 40% of high level crimes, they are just being shoved away as non-crimes because it's committed by people in officialdoms, and that the police also seem to have some interest in maintaining. So with that kind of system, we are in very dire straits as a nation when guilty people can go free, and people like me that could be on a good day be accused of doing micro criminality, biking too fast, sometimes sitting in a car without a seatbelt. I can get fined. I can get arrested. I can I can resist arrest, as I've done, and be thrown in jail. But these scumbags, they are protected by the law. I wish it wasn't so. I would be so much more proud of our country and fellow countrymen if justice was served. But it's not, time and again. Me saying this, I'm very curious to see how the YouTube is gonna react to this. And if you actually been able to see this video, don't mind if you like it. If you don't find it too uncomfortable, you may share it, even though I find that uncomfortable. Would much more rather be known for my art, and maybe more especially for the DJing. I have so much focus on the DJing, you don't know. I was it didn't take long for me. I think I hardly had done finished art school before I've been put behind a couple of decks, and whatever I think I can do with art, I think I can do it better with the DJ. That's and since then things have been just I don't know. For some other day, I believe. I'm thinking, is there anything else? Yeah. This is a story. This is when I was talking about the Lancaster, that the crashed planes. So they were kind of hyped, and something that we all knew, Big de Munne. It's probably one of the main reasons why all this happened about building this place. So we've been up on high looking for sheep. It was that time of the year, but it's before we do take them down for real, but we're just taking note of where they are in the terrain and such. And on the way back home, I came over a big sheet of aluminium with holes in it, with signatures, with some letter. It was a piece of one of the planes, one of the Lancasters that have been. I was just so. I know what I'm going. I'm gonna take this with me down from on high and down to the village, and I'm Eugene. And I'm gonna hide it, but I will sign it. And when the opening of this House of Culture is, I'm going to. I did one thing there. Um, it was for us on the farms. I was working in the silos that day. It was a sunny, warm day. Believe must have been in late summer. I cannot vouch for it. And I said to the farmer that okay, I'm just gonna be away for maybe an hour, 30 minutes or so. I have something to do. So I biked home, and I had translated a poem called like The Death of Common Sense. I translated that into Norwegian. You can look up that poem online if you just write The Death of Common Sense, and you have a wonderful poem there about the life and times we're in now. And I kind of dressed up funnily, I would say. I had this orange coverall on me that I used in the shop, the workshop, when I was doing both bike work and making installations back home. With a logo on the back that I hand painted. I had a knee band with a dream catcher and a bandana. I think I just want to you just use prop to look weird. Do you want to look like an artist, not really from this place? And I take a selfie of me there staring at the bumblebee between me and the camera, and I use that as a profile pic for some time. Here is what occasion this profile pic is that I went up then and I got the metal piece. It was the opening day of Minna, the opening ceremony with the corps playing trumpets and they're cutting the cords and stuff like that. I'm just hoping I've timed it correctly, and I really think I did. I bike up to where they are assembled at the entrance, and I slam it on the ground as hard as I can. Proceed to read the poem and just wishing everybody, a good life. And I'm off again, fast as I came, fast in, fast out. I've heard a couple say there is a couple of pictures from this thing, and I really hope I can see them someday, because I'm so glad I did that. It turned out that it was right, as it was right on the money time wise. So of course they've been thinking I'm mad, but I was back in the silo like 15 minutes later and just went on with my, like nothing had happened. so that is kind of the things that you must expect an artist to do when properly pissed off, which I duly was, and it's been something that's been festering inside me to this day, and this is why I've also chosen to now start talk about it, to get it out of my body, so I can get some. I don't want to have any more thought about it. I was just get this out of my system, so I can continue with these more interesting things I'm working on, for real. That's just what it is. I don't know. So again, not a prepared speech here, but this time I did have some notes, and I've seen there's a lot of things I've been skipping over just for to have some continuance in the talk here. But these are some of the really more key points I wanted to bring to the table about it. And whether I make a third part of it, I really hope I don't have to, but if it just keeps nagging on me that I have to, then so be it. These people pissed me royally off and continue to do that till present day. So I am mostly peaceful, mostly. There are, of course, limits, and I guess that now we are hearing about one of the times for the people who just people are always going to have an opinion about me anyway. But anyway, like, share, subscribe if you're seeing this. It's nice, and till next time, ciao.